Hey, so today I'm making a YouTube video on how to replace just the belt on the Genie Silent Max 1000 series model 3042. I went through Genie. I was within the 15-year warranty, so they sent me a new belt. I looked on YouTube trying to find videos on how to do it, and I really couldn't find anything that was very helpful. So I decided to make my own video. Hopefully this helps. I'm not replacing anything else, just that belt on the inside. And I'll show you what it kind of looks like right now and why we had to get that warranty replacement sent out. Hope this helps. So here you can see how the belt is stripped on the inside there. There's a couple places like that along the way. This is about 14-year-old belt. So I think it's just normal wear and tear. I did call Genie and they asked me to do some troubleshooting because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to continue to happen. And it could be that we put soundproof barrier on the wall, because I do play the drums, and I think maybe that added some weight to it, but this has been here for over 10 years. So I personally think it's just normal wear and tear. So we got the new belt sent out and we're about to replace it. So let's see how this goes. Now, because I don't have a lot of YouTube video help right now, I'm kind of guessing what I'm doing. So I'm currently up in the top right here, and I just took these two screws off. They had a little washer on the inside, so I had to get the right tools to make that loosen. So now that this is loose, this whole piece can come down, and I'm going to do the same thing over here at the top. One thing I'm noticing is I have this cable coming from the roof that's plugged straight into the box, so now I'm having to figure out how to unplug it from here. So I was able to pull this out. It kind of reminded me of like doing speaker boxes when I was in high school and hooking up the speakers, because this cable right here, this little wire, it goes inside that hole. And to release it, you have to get like a flathead screwdriver, and you put it right on the top there and you push it in, and it's kind of spring loaded. So I was able to pull it out with a pair of little tweezer plier things here. So once you push it in, you can pull it out like that. And then that got that one out. So I took a picture of it to make sure that I put the red or the black and the white cables back in right once we go to put it back together. Not bad. Now you can kind of see what the inside looked like. So you had these two bolts that had washers on the inside. Once I took the washers out, I was still able to rest this unit on there without having the washers in there. So that way when I pull it out, I just pulled out one side, and then this side was able to just slide out and then down. All right, so after looking at this a little bit more, I'm gonna need to do some work here and then some work up here. Because it's so high, I'm thinking it might just be easier to disconnect this little pin here and then disconnect that pin back there and just drop it down on the table, so I'll have a little bit more working room instead of having to work up like this, because that's kind of high. So I think I'm going to do that and lay it on a table, and that may make it easier. I like to put everything back as much as I can, so that way I don't have to think about what goes where, but just make sure you know which holes these are all going back into. This, you just squeeze down and pull. So let's see if I can angle it. Boom. Not that bad. It's just a squeeze down, stick it in, and let it go, and then that spring will want to tighten up. So squeeze down, pull it out. The only thing that sucks is that the top is flat, but the bottom will cut you that, so be aware of that. And that's it. Now we should be able to pull that pin out and bring this sucker down and get to work. Okay, now we're in business. We got her sitting on a table. We can actually access it easily instead of having to be up. You can tell this thing's kind of loose. You can definitely see that being stripped right there. Being stripped right there. So that's why we're replacing this sucker. Now I'm in the process of removing these 4 bolts here. in order to separate this strand where the belt is from the actual motor. And then from there, I think we'll be able to dig in. Now that we're in here, I'm just kind of playing with it to see kind of how it operates. So it looks like you got the 2 pulleys on either end. And then you got this guy here that's holding the belt together with 4 Phillips head screwdrivers. And then it kind of just rotates. So what we're gonna do is, there's gotta be a way to loosen this, maybe give it a little bit more tension so that when we put the new one on, it's also loose. And then we'll unscrew these 4 screws, put the new belt back in, tighten it, screw it back in. And then hopefully that's it. Let's see. So it looks like down at this end is where you can loosen the actual belt. You can see it's pretty loose right now. So all I did was I came in here with this guy and I just kept loosening it. And the farther out it goes, the looser it is. The farther in you go, the tighter it is. So I loosened it all the way. The belt is looking pretty loose in there, loosey-goosey. Now we put the new one in and we screw the Phillips head screwdrivers to connect it. Then we'll come back here and tighten it back up again. But for now, it looks good. It's kind of helping that I'm putting it on the metal here so I can put pressure on, because I notice these screws are kind of hard to get loose and get out, and I really don't want to strip them. So here we're just going to get all 4 of these out, pull the belt out, slide the new one through the pulleys, and then retighten it down. And then hopefully we'll be able to put it all back together and it works, and we're done. Oh, I see. So you got 2 to hold it down and 2 to hold it in. And then the teeth kind of go right in there. I gotcha. Gotcha. Very cool. All right. Look at that nonsense. Look at that. So here we got the old belt. You can definitely see a lot better now, kind of what we were working with. So I wasn't able to catch there, that's why I was stopping. So now we get the new belt. Thankfully I already ordered it from Genie. They have a 15-year warranty. I could have paid someone, I don't know, a couple $100 to come do this for me. But I decided to take my time with it and call Genie, get this warranty belt sent out, brand new. It even has a little plastic cap, so even if oh, you do, oh yeah, it comes with new screws, cool. So if I would have stripped those old ones, that would have been okay. Good to know. Anyway, brand new belt, so let's loop this in here and get it all tightened up and go drink a beer. So new belt, we gotta get loosened first, separated. With the screws again. These look a little bit more heavy duty. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, they look the exact same thing. Easier to get out though, of course, because it's brand new. Just for the record, I am not a professional. I'm kind of figuring this out as I go because there was not much help. And I didn't feel like spending hundreds of dollars. I'm paying someone to come out. I'm just that kind of guy, guys. If you look at that, I looked in the box and I just found instructions. Yeah, they wanted me to go through the whole thing. I ain't doing all that. We ain't taking this whole sucker apart now. Alright, now we got it back. What are we doing here? That side was kind of tricky, but you can figure it out. Wasn't that bad. Now we'll go ahead and reassemble this guy and make sure it's all lined up properly. Got the teeth face in the right direction. Do not want to have to come back and redo this. That's the main idea. Tighten this sucker down. The final step was to tighten this guy down so that way you remove the slack from the belt. A little bit of slack I think is alright. I might tighten it a little more. But we're done. Got the belt on. Now we literally just reverse everything that we did. We just put it all back together. Alright, so we got it all put back together. The hardest part was that weird little clamp up there in the corner, the one that you had to squeeze. I kind of knew that was going to be the hardest part. It's always the simplest things when you're going back together, but everything else pretty smooth. Belt's looking good. We got everything attached back to the roof. I got my wires plugged back in. So now we are going to test it out. I don't remember if it was an up or down position when I first started, so that could be a problem, but that's why I'm recording, because if something happens, I'll be able to document it. So let's give this guy a go here. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Now it looks like I have some work to do here because it is not all the way up. Okay. So let me try to figure out what the deal is. But either way, that belt definitely worked. And that's awesome. Alright, so I figured out what I did wrong when I installed the new belt. Remember that little white piece that had the screws? That goes right to this guy. That piece I had set right about here. So what I had to do is remove this down, remove the motor from the belt, slide that piece further back so that way it would pull the door all the way back. And now we have this. Now would you just look at that? Would you just look at it? See, wherever you put that white piece is how far back the door is gonna go. So, might take some trial and error unless you're a freaking expert or something. But anyway, long story short, this is the final product. It works. Now I get to connect it to my vehicle so I can just slide in like Batman every day. And I get back to living, the good life. Anyway, I really hope this helped you guys. I wasn't able to find any videos on this particular model. So if you're trying to do it at home, I hope this was informative. If it was, fuck yeah.